Heyo, Waka Waka, Cold War, Reaganomics, airline food sucks, where's the beef? Max Headroom, walk like an Egyptian, Spuds McKenzie, OJ stab people. We're doing stuff, we're saying things, bottom of the line, bases loaded, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 23 skidoo with a squat shot there, and Brooklyn Dodgers win a series. It's a podcast. Hey, welcome to the hardest part of the ring. My name is Bob, with 2 O's. Don't laugh, one is silent, it's European, grow up. And we are here to talk about NXT from October 21st, Wednesday, and Thursday the 22nd, WWE NXT UK, because we got letters. We got letters. We love lots and lots of letters. Wacky, wild thing happened. I was watching what I thought was this week's NXT, and I made it 40 minutes into this episode before I realized I was watching a rerun of last week's NXT. As I mentioned in the first episode, for the 8 of you who heard it, on the TV shows Raw and NXT, I only give usually the Hulu reviews because I don't have a television. So I just give you what WWE feels we need to know the most about these programs. This one was weird because I'm 40 minutes into the thing until I realized, hey, Austin Theory already wrestled Johnny Gargano, I call him that. They still haven't decided a number one contender for Candice and Io. How many times are we going to set up Candice and Io? I don't understand for Halloween Havoc. And why anything? Why is Undisputed Era opening the show with the same promo they cut last week? Until I did the math, and Hulu, for whatever reason, was not putting up the episode. So the network, oddly enough, put the thing up the day after. So I watched it a little bit late, but this is the first full NXT episode I have seen in the year since they got on the USA Network. And I don't like NXT nearly as much as I used to. I wish I'd been kept in the dark on that. Ignorance is bliss. Sometimes you gotta let sleeping dogs lie, leave the memories alone, as they used to say in the popular song for Shawn Michaels every time his smile got injured. So finally, I got to see the episode. Let's talk about this bad boy. NXT also has a new intro, and UK did as well later. I'm assuming SmackDown did as well last night. So that's cool. Everyone's got shiny new intros. Let's see what kind of turds for 2020 they shined up. We start off. We have a 3-way with Kushida, who is already in the ring, Velveteen Dream, and Tommaso Ciampa, and good God, I don't know who I'm supposed to cheer for in this match. Kushida is supposed to have this still be a babyface, but have this revelation that he needs to be more aggressive. But he kind of acts like a heel. And Ciampa's I guess, supposed to be the heel, but he's firing up. And Dream is selling like a heel, but he's supposed to be sympathetic with the cast on his arm because he's being unfairly attacked, but he instigated Kushida in the first place. I don't know what the hell is supposed to happen. I know what shouldn't happen. What shouldn't happen is Kushida pinning Ciampa 1, 2, 3 with a German suplex. Not. I don't think Kushida would make the connection with the live audience that Ciampa would if they were all there live. I didn't understand. I don't understand why the purple on his cast is the only purple that Velveteen Dream wears anymore. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think there's been enough promos and interviews and whatnot explaining how the three of these guys, why the three of them feel the way they're supposed to feel. So I just don't understand the purpose of it all. And I think there were singles matches before the 3-way they should have done with Ciampa and Dream to further cement that these three guys have a problem with each other. I was hoping that Ciampa would get the Duke and kind of move on, and we have a serious hole in the world title picture for the heavyweight title picture for NXT. So I'm not saying Ciampa should be champ again. It's kind of repetitive, but I think there needs to be. Sounds like there will be some discussions because they took half of Finn's face off. We see the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole is joining his guys live, except he's inside of a television and he's wearing shades. There's a promo for the Halloween Havoc with Shotzi Blackheart, who I just don't believe. She reminds me of, remember DDP in 94, 95? He had 800 gimmicks. There's a cigar, and there's wacky glasses, and a wacky hat, and a vest, and he's got a valet and a muscle man backing him up, and 14 catchphrases. And he just needed to pick. Shotzi's the same way. We have the green hair, we have the howl, we have the tank. Yeah, I'm sure I'm missing some stuff. So, yeah, I just kind of think that there's just way too much going on. I'm not making the connection with Shotzi that maybe some other people are. Um, Rhea Ripley, there is a package on her telling us that she's still there, which is great. We like her. Then we have Jesse Kamea, sure, versus Ember Moon. Oh, Ember Moon. Oh, I'm a negative Nancy today. I am a doubting Thomas. I am a prickly Pete today. Ember Moon is another one who I just don't believe a thing she says. There's a Road Warrior gimmick she came back with, not the Road Warriors, but like a Mad Max Road Warrior, that I think just to be fashionable or somewhat topical in pop culture, she kind of did the thing, but it hasn't. Nothing about her has changed. She came back and her mission is to win the championship. Well, okay, that's supposed to be the goal of why you're there completely. So I don't understand what she's really there for. I also don't understand why they brought her back and put her in this like 10-minute plus competitive match with this Jessie Kamiya. This is the first singles match I've seen of her on NXT. And again, if she was on some other episodes, they didn't make Hulu, but this is the first time that I got a chance to see her wrestle, and they gave her more than half the match. So Ember's almost being upset in her singles debut, and I don't think her debut, or her return match should have been a tag the week before anyway, because that just kind of watered her down. She should have just came in and kicked someone's ass for 5 minutes. I don't understand why that didn't happen. They did it great with Tony. I think it was Aaliyah. Tony came in, and I didn't understand what they were going for. I understood Dakota doing the attack and the kick afterwards. I was like, oh, okay, great. Dakota, surprising when she turned heel. It's been like a year now that she surprised everybody, and just she's come off at this as this like kind of like spoiled brat thing, and it's really good. I dig it. Bobby Fish is in the back, and somebody hurt his knee, and as he's walking with a limp, Roddy and give me a second, Kyle O'Reilly, they're walking. They have each one of their heads under each arm of Bobby Fish, and then they decide, okay, let's see if he can walk, and they both just let him walk for a second. He falls face first on the ground. That's not what you do when someone has an injured leg. But good friends though. I mean, they meant well. Austin Theory is. People are mad that Austin Theory keeps losing. He's on TV every week. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, clearly they're up to something. We don't know what yet. Theory loses to Bronson Reed twice. Good gravy. That splash from the top from Bronson Reed. I mean, it looks safe, but it looks devastating, and I think it's absolutely tremendous. And it's simple. Like, what's the most devastating thing a guy that size with his mobility can do? And his mobility, I say that in a good way, his mobility, and the best thing he can do is jump from the highest part of the ring on top of you in a spot where he can pin you and you're farthest from the ropes. That is the best possible finish for Bronson Reed. I don't know if it's the best finish for his knees, but it's the best finish for Bronson Reed. So Austin Theory does the thing they had Dolph do with Goldberg last year, where Theory says, "No, this is bullshit. I want to fight again." And I think Bronson, like real quick, he did like a pop up Samoan drop kind of thing, and 1, 2, 3 again. But I mean, it's memorable, and I kind of dug it. Xia Li wrestles next. Xia Li, a lot of people don't know, is actually the sister of Xia Brookside by first name, who are both daughters of the great British wrestler Robbie Brookside. Xia Li competes against Casey Catanzaro. Excuse me, she does not compete against her yet. She is in a backstage promo with a tall blonde lady named Mackenzie. And Xia Li said she had to win several times. Oh wait, I forgot the stars. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm new at this, guys. This is episode 2. All right, we still got kinks to work out. The first match we saw, the triple threat with Tommaso Ciampa, Velveteen Dream, and Kushida. was I wasn't a big fan of it. I gave it 12 stars. Um, Ember Moon versus Jesse Kamea. I gave that 11.5 stars. And Bobby Fish hurting his knee. I gave that 6 stars. And the first Theory Bronson Reed match, my friend Wade Seltzer from the wrestling onlooker gave that 400 stars, and the second Bronson Theory match got 399 stars. So after Zaya Brookside sister says to a tall blonde lady that she has to win several times, which implies that she will not win. It's like I'll be right back in a horror movie. You ain't coming back. Your head's gonna come off in the shed, and that's gonna be the end of it. Austin Theory then quits, and this really bothered me. I hate these segments where the wrestler says they quit because he's still got his bags. He's sweaty. He's probably got his oil or whatever to highlight the muscles, and he just sits down in his car, and that is disgusting. Why wouldn't you, if you're not going to shower up, if you're that, at least put a shirt on, to not ruin your own automobile, especially if you're quitting your job. You don't really want to have a new expense. So I wasn't really a fan of Austin quitting and getting his car sweaty. They had a 6-man match where the three heels, the El Fantasmo guy, yeah, I forget. They are the three of them, him and his buddies. They fall out of the ring and they point to their brains. Very indie-rific. I am the heel. I must point to my brains because I saw it once in 1989. That drove me nuts. Do we all need to do the Three Amigos suplex thing for Eddie, especially the guy we never heard of, sidekick to the Phantasma guy? We can let that go. Does Isaiah Scott Swerve have a? What happened in the locker room? Did he eat the last drumstick at catering? No one caught him on his corkscrew twisty dive. What's the situation there? Um, Not a big fan of this match. It just seems very I hate to say it. It was very indie-tastic. Like all the basics, all the punches, forearms, clotheslines, all the clotheslines that are supposed to be missed are all kind of rainbowed and half-assed and just waiting for the next flippity doodah. The heels won 1, 2, 3. I forget exactly how, but they beat Swerve and Adonis and Jake Atlas. I think Jake Atlas took the pin on some kind of wacky move. Oh, Johnny Gargano does not like wheels. I was amused. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I was entertained. This gimmick of Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae has. I'm not a fan of them because they're married. They do the same thing on TV. We could kind of, I liked it better when they would mention it when they had to, but then let everyone go their separate ways. But it did a lot more for Candice than it did for Johnny. I think she's running with it better and surprised a lot of people. She's, and not just the new hair. Doesn't really. She doesn't even need new hair. It doesn't matter. She is running with that kind of, their version of like the Karen, the complainer woman, and she's doing a better job. Whereas Johnny to me, he feels like he's playing a part, and I believe Candice. I think Candice would do well taking that gimmick up to Raw or SmackDown. So, and I'm not even that a huge, haven't been the world's biggest Candice fan, but she's interesting now, and she's been more vicious than I thought she was going to be as a heel. So I'm buying it. So hey, good for her. Drake and Drake Maverick and Dane Killian wrestle a team called Everrise. And if Jimmy Hart were watching this match, he would say Drake or Everrise need to change their gear because those three guys had the exact same colors, and it was hard on the eyes. Uh, they did like a DQ finish. Drake finally got upset, and then Dane, you think he's going to punch Drake, and then he hugs him because Drake went nuts with a chair, and I thought that was very cool. And then they did too much. They threw a little too much shrimp on the Barbie there, so they do a clever dance together. I hate it when Raw and SmackDown tropes leak into NXT. Like it was fine as it was. Roddy Strong is down. This isn't looking good for the UE. So William Regal and friends. You want to know my age? I still call him Steve Regal sometimes. Regal and friends make a decision that hey, Kyle, you can't fight the two of them alone. So the team of the Good Hands are going to take your place, and they're going to wrestle the Fandango team. It's hard for me to say Breezango. Later on in the main event, something is clearly up, because if the Fandango team wins and keeps their titles, then that was all for nothing. So Xia Li finally wrestles Casey Catanzaro on behalf of Xia Brookside to represent. And of course, there is a roll up fairly quickly, and Xia Li has lost the match and attacks Katie Catanzaro. Yes, they were setting it up and dropping hints little by little, but it was cool to finally see happen. And then, they pissed all over this bad boy. Why would you do this? They pissed on this thing like a 7-year-old in a toilet seat. Raquel Gonzalez runs in to beat the shit out of all of them. So Zaya's big turn, or the moment that they spent all this time on, is now completely in the toilet. Because the story now here is that Raquel beat the shit out of all of them. So then what's the point? Why would I even care that Casey gets even with Xia, Brookside's sister? Because now they all have to get even with Raquel, and they're really not. This is just to make Raquel look stronger, because Rhea's had more time on TV, so they need to portray Raquel as a bigger dragon for Rhea to slay, which just to keep Rhea occupied before she wrestles Io, I'm assuming. Yeah, you pissed all over Xia Li's thing. You guys screwed it up. Sorry. And Raquel drove me bananas. She did this weird promo. She mentioned Halloween Havoc, but she had this weird pause. She said, next week at Halloween Havoc. I'm sorry. Did you need an index card there? What was the issue? When 30 men enter the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna win and go on to wrestle. I don't know. I'll think of it later. Cameron Grimes is with a blonde lady, and during the shot before they snuck Dexter Loomis in it, which is very silly, there is clearly a dude in a light blue collared shirt just texting on the other side of the window, just standing there by the wall, and no one reshot it. He's just chilling out. So Grimes, I guess, is setting up for some kind of wacky gimmick match with Dexter Loomis. I forgot what it was called. There's a package about Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. We've been teasing this thing for a while, but I hope it's a blindfold match, and I actually hope a blindfold match pay-per-view is the next gimmick pay-per-view. Because I was wondering, all these months, like, are we still doing the Hell in a Cell? Because there's no people, and it's the space and the size, and I guess they still got the arena. Would they still do Elimination Chamber? What about Survivor Series with all those people if they're doing the teams? Or was the Rumble going to be with the Rumble? Yeah, I don't know. They'll just do it. Who the hell we can? Blindfold match needs to be the February or December pay-per-view, because we're just waiting until Mania or Rumble anyway. So there needs to be 2 or 3 blindfold match main events on that pay-per-view. I hope that happens. We do the Thatcher's Thatch Can segment. The Thatcher guy, what the hell is his name? I'm going to call him Thatcher. I forgot his first name. George Thatcher. We'll just go with it. I love this because he's talking about the specific ways that he hurts you in the ring, and he looks at the camera and he tells you how I'm going to hurt you. Look at me. I'm going to hurt you. Look at you. Don't look at you. You're ugly. He tells you how to do that. I was going to do that. He does that to a guy that he calls Anthony, Alan, Alex, etc. several times, which is comical. It's kind of an old gag at this point, but nevertheless. And somehow he turns the demonstration into a match, and a Thunderdome lights up. I didn't even know they were there. After the tap out, so Thatcher, this is just to remind us Thatcher stuff. A little kid is behind the announcers, and I was so excited to see a little kid. That sounds bad as I say it out loud. It was just a kid who, obviously, it's the friend or family of somebody who works there, but he's got a belt and a sign, and he's jumping up and down. It's like, oh, remember kids in the wrestling shows? Like, it felt better, you know what I mean? It felt less icky to have a kid there. There's a package on Damian Priest as he's getting a tattoo. That's a new one, haven't seen it. I liked it. He convinced me that he's still going to kick Johnny Gargano's ass. Breezango and Oni and Birch. Okay. So we do the switch, and I guess now they're heels. The Good Hands, they beat Breezango. And, of course, the culprit all along, the non-wrestler who has now taken out 3/4 of the Undisputed Era in one day. The football player with one match under his belt. fucking Pat McAfee, who has no entertainment ability or value, in my opinion, whatsoever, is the guy all along and manages the bald heels. And yeah, in principle, okay, an obnoxious and more colorful mouthpiece would be the best thing for them, and it will be for them. For the show, I don't know. We saw Cole carry him to the great match, and that's cool. Good for him. And we saw Pat be heroic and do a risky dive with 10 fucking guys catching him and all this stuff and kick out of big things and be like the cool heel and almost a heroic in defeat kind of, which he shouldn't have been. He should have his ass kicked in 5 minutes to prove the point that this is a top tier wrestler and a former NXT champion. He's a big deal. But instead, he's a football player, so we gotta piss on our own stars so we don't have any new ones, so we don't have to pay him as much and steal their Twitches. Hey, did I go too far? So great, Pat McAfee's going to be on TV more, and he's going to sell nothing. And when I say sell nothing, I don't just mean moves and bumps and things like that, because he will eventually take one finish and dead sell it, and that'll be that. But I mean verbally, facially, he's going to sell nothing. So when I guarantee you, I'm telling you already. So when a baby face has a comeback, he's going to do the spooky fingers Scott Hall thing they used to do. He's going to do that because he's a stupid mark, and he's not going to react to, hey, I'm pissed off that the babyface is telling me off. It's exactly what he's going to do. I'm calling it now. And if that's a little bit stiff, I'm sorry, but this is the hardest part of the ring. Hey, okay. The tip to be able to try the wage. All right, let's talk about UK. I had no idea how I was supposed to talk about UK because this is a pretty standard, not vanilla show. I hate to say that. It makes it sound boring because it's not boring. But they just do their matches, and you like the match or you don't, and everything makes as much sense as it possibly can. Eddie Dennis comes out to fight Oliver Carter, and if we're portraying Eddie Dennis as a super badass, why did it take him 15 minutes to beat this guy? But nevertheless, he's supposed to be a big crazy guy. He does the Razor's Edge 1, 2, 3. I know it has a fancier name. Who cares? And he cuts a promo about tag teams, and he sounds drunk for some reason. There's a package on Joe Coffey, who I thought was fired for sex thingies. Then there's a package on Jordan Devlin, who I thought was fired for sex thingies. Then Nina Samuel defeated Tamale. She beat her. Um, Trent Seven has one of those Heritage Cup, those British rounds matches with who the hell did Williams, something Williams, Scotty Williams, Williams Morris, Johnny Williams, Johnny Morris. A really nice guy, and Trent Seven defeats the nice guy barely in the British rounds match. I enjoy these matches. I don't want, if I see them every week, they won't be special. Can't be Christmas every day. But I one day would love to see the UK Heavyweight Championship defended in one of those matches. And I think they were building some steam with it before everyone got a terrible disease. I know what's his face, Cassius Ono and the Sid Scala were doing, and there was another one as well, I think. And I was digging it. It's a little hard for me to follow. It's a few more rules because to me, because I didn't grow up in England, so to me, I'm not a British wrestling fan. To me, it's a gimmick match with a whole bunch of rules over. If you grew up with that match, that's just how a wrestling match works. So I think our rules are pretty simple in comparison. So I'm enjoying it. I like that they gave the kid they almost barely had him lose to Trent, and sometimes it's okay for just the two faces to wrestle and they shake hands at the end because when one of them doesn't, it actually means something. So when one turns, it'll be worth something. So who knows? Trent Seven, I'm still big on. I haven't seen anything about Tyler Bates or heard anything about him. I don't know if he got in trouble when the entire male roster of the UK was gutted for sex thingies, except for like 5 guys. So I don't know the answer to that. But speaking of sex thingies, Sid Scala's on TV. That made no sense. We do a contract signing and we don't break the table. All right, we do everything different in Britain. All right. They drive on the right side of the road and they wait, what? Do we do that? I don't know. The steering wheel's on the right and they don't break the table of contract signings, but Ilya Dragunov and Walter had this wonderful fight with just the loudest, most violent chops, and you just, no matter who you are, if you're sitting there, if someone else is watching wrestling and you come by with your hands folded, and this is stupid, isn't this all fake, yada, 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 you still go, ow, that hurt. And that adds to the big fight feel of this match, which I think is next week. It's 9 months in the making, this friggin' match. I think it'll be awesome, but my fear is that it can't live up to 9 months of hype, which isn't anyone's fault, but is what it is. I love that they gave Ilya the pin in the tag match. Now, traditional WWE booking says, okay, that means Ilya's not winning it. But on the other hand, this is WWE, but sort of. There's no Vince fingers in this show, and I don't know what Hunter's involvement is. I think they just kind of let the guys wrestle and win matches, and the whatever arena, the BT something something that they're using is still pretty new to them. So I think whatever the new format of the UK, they're still working it all out. But when you have all the hard hitting, all the forearms, the European uppercuts, and not just the chops, but the kicks and all of that, when you can hear them, man, that helps out that unfortunate quiet atmosphere so much. You could hear it at WrestleMania with Sammy and Bryan. You can hear it at WrestleMania with Charlotte and Rhea, and you can damn well hear it. You actually have to turn it down with Walter and Ilya. So I could definitely dig that. So they did a great job hyping it up. I'm gonna stop recording here. That's all I gotta say. I don't know if I'm gonna do SmackDown because I only have YouTube clips. Who the hell knows? Maybe I'll surprise you. This is the hardest part of the ring. Oh, the contract signing got 74 stars. Eddie Dennis and Oliver Carter got some shooting stars, and Joe Coffey package got 5 stars and some unwelcome sexual advances. I don't really know. Okay, thank you again. You can find me on YouTube. You can find this on Podomatic.com, the hardest part of the ring. Twitter is at Bob Hansen Jokes. The CIA killed Kennedy. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.